Yo, so what's up, everyone? Today's kind of been a chill at home day, uh, and uh, so I did a little more research because on the DNA test it said that my grandpa was uh, obviously so because like how my grandpa said his mom was born in Norway, but I got barely any Norwegian in me, so. Uh, Basically, I looked at a guide that talked about how to like analyze your GEDmatch results, and I realized for me that the mixed mode was plus the admixture was the best calculation of where my family comes from. Because basically my family comes from three different continents. My grandparents were from four different backgrounds, and those encompass predominantly two and a half populations from the GEDmatch test, the first one that I took, the Punt DNAL K12, the 20%, yeah, roughly 19%. Kurdish and Turkish is too distant to show up on the mixed mode. And because the Yemeni and Saudi is from a Semitic background, as is the Palestinian Bedouin, Jordanian and Egyptian, and Lebanese and Palestinian um, ancestry. They're also from a Semitic background, so that's why they're on the mixed mode, while the Turkish and Kurdish is not. I should be specific because it did say Turkish Jew on the mixed mode, but we're talking about the Adana Turkish, the Turkic Turkish, if that makes sense, and not the Arabic speaking Turkish Jew. If that understands, if that makes sense, I hope it makes sense to you. And then I also saw this diagram. The only resource from Ancestry that I found useful was this diagram showing how DNA is passed down. And the minimum you can inherit from a parent is 50%. And basically, so if that my mom's what, half and half, or triracial, or whatever you want to call it. She's European, Asian, and African. And I am what? And 34% of my ancestry is from the southern Levant and Sinai Peninsula. What's it called? 19 is from the Caucasus, so 34 plus 19, so 35 plus 20, 35. That's like 55, and then another 3 is from the Arabian Peninsula. That's 58. So if 60% of my ancestry is either from Asia or Africa, then and 40 comes from Northern Europe, predominantly England, Scotland, Ireland, and Germany, then that means my mom's dad must have been mixed with something. And I talked about how my mom's what's it called? My mom's cousin in Delaware had done a DNA test, and he found out that he had Lebanese in him, and Syrian. So that makes me wonder if my grandpa's dad, so my maternal grandpa, if his dad was half Lebanese or part Lebanese. Because, I mean, my maternal grandpa grew up in Massachusetts. His dad grew up in Massachusetts. And there's a pretty big Lebanese community over there. Granted, now he did grow up in Western Mass, and there are not many Lebanese there. It's mostly Puerto Ricans, English, and Irish over in Western Mass. And most of the Puerto Ricans are from a Yoruba West African background over there. So they're black Puerto Ricans from a Yoruba West African background. So that leads me to believe that my mom's dad has a little bit of Lebanese in him, and that's how I got the Lebanese. It could have been it very well could have been from mixing with the Palestinian and the Jordanian and Egyptian. But given that I am close to 60% of African and Asian heritage, and my mom's supposedly, right, is half and half, or you know what I mean, is supposedly a third of her ancestry, a third of her ancestry comes from Asia, either way, she's mixed race, right? Third of her ancestry from Asia, third of it from Africa, or North Africa, from the Sinai Peninsula, and a third of it comes from Europe. That leads me to believe that my grandpa has some Lebanese in him. I'm going to tell this theory to my cousin, and we'll see what he thinks of it. Yep. So that's pretty much all I have for today. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.